Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me here in the Zoom classroom, whether you're here live or catching the recording at a later date. I am Christy Gammon, your host and teacher for our class on healthy habits. So thank you for being a guest of Team Share and Shine. And without further ado, I want to share my screen. This is the one. My computer is moving so slowly today. I just keep taking it as a sign that we're all supposed to be slowing down at this time. I refuse to let it rattle me. I am trying to maintain my emotional balance as best I can and just take a hint that, fall is well at hand. Here in central Ohio, it's been cold and rainy for the past couple of days, and it's getting dark early in the evening. It's dark when I wake up in the morning. And so now my computer is joining in with the program and just reminding me to slow down. So I'm just going to take that in stride. I'm going to say thank you for that reminder and just do my best to keep that pace. And so, healthy habits, one of my all-time favorite topics, period. Important absolutely all the time, but I think especially for such a time as this. If you're catching the recording at any point, you should know that this is being captured in October of 2020, and just what a year this has been. And for me, I had the chance today to look back on this same class that I recorded in April, just about 6 months ago. As I often do before I teach, I always go back and refresh my notes with anything new and good, and then also just try to remind myself where I was whenever we left off when I taught this material last. And it was so eye-opening. It was one of those moments where I just wanted to smile at my former self and just say things like, oh, bless your heart, or aren't you precious? Because in April, we were 1 month in to the pandemic and just the uncertainty of this year and not knowing where things would lead. And so this topic was so relevant then, but I have to laugh because it's even more so now. There are just so many things going on that are beyond our control, and so many more now than there even were back in April. And I think we all thought at that time that this, response to the pandemic would maybe be a month or two. I had just learned in April that our kids were not going to be going back to school, live school in the building, that they were just going to be continuing virtual learning back in April. And I was grieving that we weren't going to have Kate's 5th grade graduation or clap out. And those things felt really hard and really heavy. And so by now, there's been more things to grieve, more loss, more limited contact with people we know and love, and just a shrinking of our social circles, our work circles, our life circles, and just the impact that that has on us over time. And so compounded by the weather here and just transitioning from summer into fall, the past few days I've felt incredibly heavy. And maybe you have too. I took that as a sign, even though everything in me wanted to say, oh, can we just take this week off and not have a class and just hide under the covers somewhere. It felt even more important to come with whatever energy I have and share these tools and resources and just information, practices that I hold near and dear to my heart. I've been leaning into them heavily, and so I thought maybe a good time for just gentle reminders for all of us that these are our foundations of health. This is what we come back to. It's not just for when times are good, it's especially important when times are challenging. And so, excuse me, I have done everything I can think of to try to avoid coughing throughout this entire class. I've taken 2 Tri-E's, I have all the oils, I've had tea, I've had a teaspoon of honey, and I'm drinking water. So I promise I'm doing all the things, and I'm trying to maintain my voice. My body just, it's really hard for my body to switch seasons. And so you hear that in my voice. I apologize for that. But want to press on. So good to ground in and find peace in the things that we can control when there are all these things around us swirling that we cannot control. We truly do have so much freedom and so much power to choose and make healthy choices. We have the opportunity to live a full life, a John 10:10 life, even now. So grab your cup of tea, your water, whatever oils you have, a notebook and a pen, and we will get started. And so I want to give you a gift at the beginning of this class, and that's the gift of an empty plate. And that might seem a little strange, but I'm sure you're aware of the phrase, I've got a full plate, my plate is full, that kind of language. So I wanted to contrast that. If you're feeling like your plate is full of maybe obligations, figuring out how to do things in new ways still. Rules seem to change all the time. Scheduling with work environments and school environments and just life. How do we relate with other people? All these things are just changing, and how do we figure that out? And our spiritual walk can feel heavy. How is that going for you? Our emotional processing can be weighing on us. So we've got all of these things on our plates. And so I thought it would be refreshing to begin the class with an empty plate, or a blank slate, if you will. And so we can just focus on that for a moment. I was highly intentional in choosing this particular color palette for the class so that we can enter into some calm blue space over the next 45 minutes or so. I invite you to take some deep breaths, and I want to read some beautiful words that my friend Betsy had posted back in April, just a day or two before I recorded this class originally. And I felt that they still held true today, and maybe even had enhanced meaning now that this period of time has gone on for such an extended length of time, more than what anybody expected. So about midway through, she's going to mention a 10-second period that she felt that we were in the midst of back in April. And I believe we're still in that 10 seconds. So maybe by April, we thought we were already 5 seconds in. And the truth is we were only about half a second in out of the 10. And who knows, maybe we'll have to recalculate again. Hopefully we're making progress toward that 10, but that'll make sense to you as I read this. And just feel free to close your eyes if you want, or stare at the plate if that makes you feel good, and take some deep breaths. My friend Betsy wrote, "It's odd to feel exhausted right now, when all that was so physically demanding before has basically disappeared. Everyday normal home life on its own can be exhausting, but I don't think it's that. When you reboot a computer, it's actually doing more work in that moment than it does with all apps running. It's closing out old background programs. Some of them stubbornly don't close right away and encounter errors. And it's also dumping data and preparing for a shutdown. And then there's that 10 seconds it needs before you turn it back on. it can't do anything in that time but sit there. I feel like we are in that 10-second period, that period of time where the computer just needs a big fat break. This has to happen so that when the on button is pressed down for more than 3 seconds and the system gets the signal that it's time to fire up all apps again, we'll be prepared to see what has been forever deleted, what has been permanently uninstalled, and what has been installed and maybe even upgraded. There's not much we have to lose. We can have a lot to gain, though, if we choose, like real freedom. Not the kind we thought we had before, when the system had been overrun by every virus, both literal and figurative, but perhaps the kind we have never truly felt before, the kind that might reveal so much about how we were previously living that we won't want to go back, not ever. This requires choice. All that happens requires your consent. So in this stillness, or even exhausted pause, consider what it is you want to go back to. Create in your beautiful imagination all that you can possibly dream about for how this can turn out to be the best thing that has ever happened to us, and for the realization of freedom for all, not just a handful. Be crazy about your dreams, big and small. Imagine what you want to see while sitting in that cocoon of darkness, which only means you are in the perfect spot to plant these seeds. Those seeds planted in dark soil. What if you are the seed that has been planted? Imagine all that needs to happen right now for you to sprout all that you are here to be and offer is in fact happening in this dark time. Amen. So I invite you to enjoy the stillness and to feel empowered. And I only want you to put on this plate over the course of the class what is most important to you. First, let's enter in with a brief exercise. And if you don't have a piece of paper already, I would grab at least one clean piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. And then on the left side, I would like you to write what is one negative thought that you regularly have about your health. This should pop right into your mind because you're probably used to thinking it on a frequent basis. So as you're walking around throughout your day, if there's a recurring negative thought that you have toward yourself or toward your health, I would like you to write that down. And so here's an example. I'm stressed out. So this is something that I have to be really careful about speaking in my mind as I'm walking around going through the course of my day. Because, as you know, we want to hold our thoughts captive. And if our thoughts are leaning toward the negative, then that's the frame or that's the lens that we're looking through out onto our day and our experiences. And so if I'm casting out, I am stressed out, and that's what I'm looking through, then my brain is going to be finding evidence to support that thought because it wants to stay in alignment with the thought that I'm feeding it. It's going to assume that what I'm speaking is truth. And so it's going to look for evidence to support that truth. And in this case, if I'm telling myself all the time I'm stressed out, it's going to find experiences and other thoughts and pile them all up to say, you're right, that's exactly what we are. And stress can come in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual forms. And so I think this one is a good catch-all, but use whatever it is that's relevant for you. And then what we're going to do is replace that negative thought with 2 positive thoughts. We want to stay with our computer language from Betsy's example, and we want to destroy the old programming because it's not serving us. It's taking our mind and then our life on this wild goose chase that's not serving us. And so instead we want to install new programming and maybe even give ourselves an upgrade. So what we want to do on that left side of the paper is destroy that old programming. So you can either draw an X through your negative thought. You want to do something physical to destroy that negative thought. That way it connects with the left brain and the right brain, and you're really cementing in that this is not true and we are walking away from it. We're done with it. So you can X it out on the paper. You can neatly tear that paper down the half. If you drew a line halfway down, just tear on that line, crumple up the negative side, throw it away if you want. Lots of options there, but in some way, denounce that negative thought and then replace that with 2 positive thoughts. And these can be anything. Again, sit quietly for a moment and consider what those might look like for you. So my examples are, I am well rested and I am emotionally balanced. And if you want to play off of that, I am emotionally balanced, I used those words so that they would be vague. And you can plug in your own emotions that you're looking for. I just thought it would be easier for you to understand what I'm going for with those words, but trust me, I'm not walking around saying to myself, I am emotionally balanced. You could say that if you wanted to just have an overall picture of emotional balance, but what I find is even more effective is to be really specific. So last week I had an I am statement that was focused on emotions, and so I chose I am peaceful, calm, and happy. And so you can just focus on one emotion or a combination like that example. And I just said that over and over and over to myself. This week, I'm more focused on I am well rested, saying that over and over. But you can have whatever combination that serves you. And this is going to work with the same science that I talked about a moment ago. Tell yourself the truth until you believe it, whether or not you're aligning in this moment 100% with your positive statements. Start telling them to yourself. And the good news is that as you tell yourself these truths, whichever ones you pick for you, your brain is going to be out there looking for evidence to show you, yes, this is right. And so it's also going to help you because your body and your mind are going to want to stay in alignment with your thoughts and your beliefs. And so it's going to help you make better choices as you go about your day. If you're saying things like, I am well rested, then it's going to make it really difficult to stay up past midnight, binge watching TV, and then fretting about having to wake up early the next morning. So it's just going to help rein in certain behaviors. Which is really, really helpful. And so see what those look like for you. And write those down on the right-hand side of the paper and keep those as a reminder. You can put them up on the mirror in the bathroom, have them on your desk at work, on your computer monitor, where a place where they will serve you and you can come back to them and be reminded. And then as we begin the class, I want to invite you, as I often do, to write down your top health concerns or goals. Now, this can be just one thing. I wouldn't list more than 3. Usually say somewhere between 1 and 3. And you can go with concerns if there are things that are bothering you that you want to address, or you can choose goals if there are things that you want to be aspiring to. And just write those down. I have a couple of bullets as examples here. Maybe you want to drink more water, move your body. Maybe you're experiencing some fatigue and you're looking for ways to address that. So what I would like you to do while we go through the class material is to only be listening for those things that are important to you. I'm going to cover 5, 6 different foundations of health. And there's going to be some information around each one of those, but I don't want you to feel overloaded and overwhelmed because I feel like that's just how we feel in general in life right now. And my gift to you during this class is to simplify, to create more white space and to take the pressure off your shoulders that you have to do all the things. You're just going to take some deep breaths, listen for that 1 or 2, maybe 3 if you're feeling really, maybe you have a lot of concerns, or maybe you're feeling really strong and you want to add some new habits. But maximum of 3 things that you want to be listening for. And when you hear things that fit, then that's when I would want you to take notes. The rest of the time, if it's not for you in this moment, just relax and enjoy. And so let's come back to our blank plate, our blank slate or empty plate one more time. And remember that the only thing that you need to bring with you into this class is who you are and who you want to be. You're just looking maybe for those 1 or 2 things that are going to bless you the most at this time. Let's take another nice deep breath together. And so these are going to be our intentions for the class. We're going to cover doTERRA's wellness pyramid, focusing on those foundations of health and tucking in complementary wellness products and practices with each. And then we're going to end the class with a nice summary of daily health habits recommended by Dr. Hill, one of the founding executives of doTERRA, and then some rhythms that I practice in my life that have been especially life-giving to me over these past few months, that hopefully will refresh your life as well. And then we'll end with some resources to support you. So this is the doTERRA Wellness Pyramid or Wellness Lifestyle graphic that we all know and love. And this is going to be kind of the outline for our class tonight. And I wanted to read just a quick paragraph from, this is our Live Guide. If you're not familiar with this, if you're a member, you can go to your doTERRA.com and download this for free. If you're not a member and you would like access, just reach out to me or whoever invited you to the class tonight, and we'd be happy to provide a copy to you. It's a really well done publication, much like this class, that is based on the wellness pyramid. And so this is Live a Wellness Lifestyle. doTERRA's Wellness Lifestyle Pyramid illustrates how wellness is a combination of lifestyle and healthcare. When lifestyle is the focus, health is naturally achieved and maintained. Your daily habits make all the difference. As you live these principles and use doTERRA's powerful products, you experience new levels of wholeness. And that is the premise for this class tonight. That's kind of our grounding or founding principle that we're going to be building upon. And you'll see as we go through, we're going to start with eating right and progress from the bottom to the top of the pyramid. And then just 2 points that I want to make on this slide. One is that I absolutely love that in doTERRA we're called wellness advocates and not essential oil advocates. I always like to point that out because I feel that it's so important to distinguish that we're not just trying to sell essential oils as if they're a magic bullet or the only means to the end, which is wholeness and wellness. No, they are meant to be used in concert with these foundations of health that we're going to focus on tonight, in concert with other tools and resources and practices and rituals that all add up to what a wellness lifestyle looks like. And the other point is I wanted to share, I thought this was really valuable, shared by Rob Young during our leadership retreat earlier this year. He used this little literary tool and described how we want to take anything that's bad and make it better, and then we want to take anything that's better and make it great. And so, for example, if I'm doing my best, I'm not perfect, but I'm making progress and I'm committed to the process. I'm coming back to my foundations of health and my healthy habits as often as I can. I'm doing better maybe than I was yesterday, if in that state I bump into, say, an environmental threat, something that threatens my immune system or my physical or mental well-being, then because I've been focusing on these practices, I've been, preventing as much as I can through my daily routines, then I'm probably going to manage or process through that event much better than I would have otherwise. And maybe I don't get it at all. And so what could potentially be a bad thing for someone then becomes better the more you're practicing that wellness lifestyle. And then as you're in a better place, maybe in some cases, you're not even compromised by that event at all. And so then that's really great. And your quality of life becomes better and better, and your baseline becomes something that looks like greatness. And I love that. That's kind of the end game. What a goal. So let's start with eating right. This is the base of our pyramid. And just to let you know, a couple points about the structure of this class and my intention in creating these slides. I really tried not to overload with either graphics, content, or information that I'm going to share. This is meant to be pretty simple. I don't think anyone's going to be shocked by any of the information that I share. Hopefully you'll pick up a couple tidbits with some healthy habits, practices that I have in place, and maybe even a thing or two about our essential oils and products that maybe you didn't know before. But I just really want to bless you with ease and simplicity throughout this class. And so what I've done is for each foundation of the pyramid, I'm going to have 2 slides. And so you're going to see on slide number 1 kind of an overview and an affirmation. And so if this is an area where you're like, oh, this resonates with something, one of my 2 positive thoughts that I want to be thinking, or maybe one of my 1 or 2 health goals or concerns that are important to me, then this affirmation may bless you. So for eating right, we have, I am fueled by foods that give me natural energy. And just like when we talked about the negative thoughts and the positive thoughts, if we use these affirmations as overarching positive thoughts for us in these categories, then it becomes harder to live out of alignment with these. And so they're going to work just the same, like we talked about before. So if you're saying to yourself, I'm fueled by foods that give me natural energy, then it's going to be really hard to eat a bunch of fast food or grab a bag of chips or eat a bunch of Halloween candy, for example, because it's just not going to feel in alignment with what you're saying to yourself, with that perspective that you're choosing toward eating right. And so what does eating right look like? Gentle reminder, we want to be eating a majority of fruits, vegetables, live foods. Juicing, getting extra greens is always a good choice. We want to eat regular meals at regular times during the day just to support a good schedule and proper digestion and good sleep. We want to lean toward healthy snacks, and we want to be decreasing sugar, caffeine, dairy, and processed foods. And so then on slide number 2, I'm going to give you some keywords that I like to use to remind myself what eating right means to me. And so I used to have 2 words that began with F that had to do with eating for me, and those were fast food. And I feel like this is an example for me where I went from bad to better. And my words for eating now are fuel and fortify, and those help me make good choices. Some supports that I love in this category are making a weekly meal plan. sitting down. I love my Sunday routine where I set myself up for success for the week. And if you want to know more about that, then you can connect with me. But I have a number of things that I do on Sundays, and one of them is creating a meal plan for the week. And then from that, I make a grocery list according to my budget. And then I either plan to shop on Monday or do some type of delivery service or pickup where I place my order. And what I love about either using like a click list at Kroger or similar services at different groceries, or a delivery service, obviously there's a convenience to it. There used to be a small fee, but as far as I know, most major chains have waived that right now, just to provide this option for people so that you maybe avoid contact, and engage with large crowds of people a little bit less. So obviously there's a convenience factor. Fee has been waived, so that's not really even an issue anymore. I find, especially if I'm trying to focus on this category, like in my early days of making better food choices, this was so critical for me because just walking up and down the aisles of a grocery store was so tempting. I wanted chips and I wanted all kinds of things that I knew weren't healthy for me, but it was really hard to resist them all in your face all at the same time. And so using one of these services where you can just put in your digital cart, your online cart, exactly what's on your list really helps. And so it's worth it, even if you are paying $3 or $5 to save from, all the impulse things that you might throw in your cart that were not on your list. So it's really good for just getting better with that discipline. And then, so budget wise and making healthy choices, it was really helpful for me. And so that might be a consideration for you. We've also done meal kits in our family from season to season. I will typically do a meal kit service for maybe, 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes maybe 3 months if I don't order every week, do like every other week. These can be wonderful just to flesh out if it's a stressful thing for you to plan food. I know that it can be, it has been for me at different times. And so to have something delivered to my house, again, the convenience of it, and especially during these crazy times when we're trying to avoid crowds, it's nice to have some food that's delivered other than pizza and Chinese, right? Delivered to your door, and then that can kind of flesh out that weekly meal plan. And so maybe you get a box. We're just a family of 3, so we would get the meal plan to feed 4 people. But because Kate is small, and she and I both, we're not big eaters, and so usually a 4-person meal we can eat twice. This was wonderful. We had a service going, a vegan service called Purple Carrot, going at the very beginning of the pandemic. I think kind of March, April, May, we did that, or maybe, I think we ended it in May. But it was wonderful. We didn't have to pick and choose. Any of the recipes were available to us. In other services, they don't always offer vegan choices, and so then you got to try to figure out what works for the way that you're trying to eat. So it's great if you can find one of these kit services that tailors to the way that you are trying to eat. That's really helpful. And then to just space those meals with maybe some quick meals or some favorites that you have, to just stretch that. And I find that's kind of like the wind beneath my wings sometimes. I like to use those in different seasons. And whenever I have, it's always been worth the money. I'm not using one right now. I feel a little stronger in my meal planning game. You get one ball in the air and then another one drops. And so you just kind of go where the biggest areas of need are. And I'm feeling good with my meal planning right now. So we don't have a service going at the moment, but that has been a huge support to me in the past. So I always like to give credit to that. And then on this slide, we want to talk about supplementation and just the importance for every man, woman, and child, because even our produce these days is mass produced. We just don't have the quality of soil and the quality products coming from the ground that our grandparents or great-grandparents used to experience. So even if we're eating a pure, healthy, dominantly fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds kind of diet, we're still going to be in lack of the proper vitamins and nutrients. So we want to bring in a supplement. The LLV, or Lifelong Vitality Pack, offered by doTERRA is just second to none. I teach an entire class on these supplements, so I'm not going to go into detail here, but that class will tell you all about the ingredients and the delivery system of these 3 bottles of goodness. And I'll just show you, I have the bottles here. These also come in convenient little sachets that measure out the daily doses. I choose the bottles because they're a little bit cheaper, and I have my own method of organizing my supplements. I use this pill wallet, and then that enables me to measure out not only my LLV, but some other customized supplements that I love to use. So these guys, the 4 main benefits that are highly touted are energy, mood, sleep, and pain relief. But I would throw in at least 2 more and make a top 6, including digestion and focus. And to use the words life-changing when I talk about these supplements is not a stretch at all. Greg and I both take them daily. If we ever miss a couple days, we can feel it. We can absolutely tell the difference. It really impacts everything. And we don't like to go a day without them. So highly, highly recommend. And there are tons more benefits that you'll hear about in that class. So I won't go into it all here, but take my word for it. And they do come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. I think it's actually 45 days that you get to experience them. That way you can have that little bit of time without them to see the impact they were making in your life before you make a final decision. And doTERRA really does want you to use the full 30-day supply. Or if you want to start with a half dose, you can even split a pack with someone else. Decide if they're working for you, and then you can even send back completely empty bottles, and they will honor that if you feel like they're not the right supplement for you. So you've got nothing to lose. Highly, highly recommend. And what's one final endorsement is that you may not guess it, but they're actually doTERRA's #1 selling product, more than any of our essential oils. This is what we're all buying. We're up to over 9 million strong at this point, wellness advocates and wholesale customers, and this is still our #1 seller. So little endorsement for you there. And then I also have 2 additional ingredients that kind of go hand in hand with your foundational supplement. These are our digestive enzyme, which is called Terrazyme. And you always want to pair a digestive enzyme with your meals. You've got a little bit in the Lifelong Vitality Pack, but you want to make sure you are absorbing, extracting, and then absorbing the highest percentage of nutritive value that's in whatever food you're giving to your body. So a regular meal, I'm just going to take 1 Terrazyme before I eat. If it's Friday night and we're doing pizza and my body's a little less used to handling the dairy and the meat, we'll usually do a pepperoni pizza. And so I would do 2 or 3 Terrazyme before that meal, just so that I can better handle a slightly less healthy food. That's how that one works. And then the PB Assist Plus is amazing. I think most people understand the benefits of a good probiotic. This also has prebiotic, and it's a special capsule that's designed to survive the acidic lining in your stomach and make it all the way to the intestinal tract. And so this is an excellent choice for probiotic. So let's move on to exercise. where we're going to say, I move my body every day. And don't you love this girl? I'm just so inspired by her. She's so cute. When I grow up and I exercise all the time, I want to be like her. She's got her cute green tank top on. She's exercising literally in a bright blue room. I can't think of a better example. She's so fit, she's strong, she's healthy, she's just glowing. She's got a little sweat glow going. I want to be this girl. So she's going to be my inspiration. And this is one of the things I say to myself, I move my body every day. It helps you stay in alignment with that goal. And so you want to do at least 20 minutes a day to get your heart rate up, involving some cardio. Increased heart rate and sweat are our goals here. There's so many options for getting a workout in, whether you're inside or outside, whether you're doing something formal like a class or a sport, or just something casual like a dance party in your living room. There are so many different ways to achieve exercise. And I say all of that because I'm speaking to myself. This is a category that I've really been trying to work on throughout this year, and I am making progress, but I want to share some of the things that have really helped me, and maybe they'll help you too. So first, just knowing that I tend to go to my emotions for whatever reason. And that's probably true with all the foundations of health, but I feel like I've gotten stuck on exercise in my emotions and just trying to determine, do I feel like exercising or not? And sadly, about 99% of the time, I don't feel like it. And so I would just end up defaulting to no, I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to exercise. So asking myself a different question has been huge, and coming up with a variety of ways to exercise has been the game changer for me. So instead of saying, do I feel like working out? I say, how will I work out today? And just knowing that it doesn't have to be some formal thing. Even though I love that girl, I don't have to be dressed in a cute outfit to get my workout in. I can, go with the flow of that day. And so some of the things that I've come up with are, I try to overcome any obstacles that I may put in my own way when it comes down to the actual day and time to exercise. So I love to do yoga in my living room. So I've got my yoga mat right there in the living room. My laptop is always connected to the TV. I can easily push my coffee table aside and lay everything out. And so that just makes the whole process of getting into the yoga practice more possible. I don't have excuses like, I don't know where I keep my yoga mat. I forget. Maybe it's in my car. I don't do that. I keep it in the same place all the time. I always have my laptop. So I can just plug in to one of the programs that I've subscribed to. Makes it really easy. I can take a walk outside. We have a dog, so she's got to go out once or twice a day for something more formal exercise. She requires exercise, and so there's that option. I have a really simple workout that works if maybe I've gotten toward the end of the day and I feel like, I didn't work out today and I'm already dressed and what am I going to do? And this works too if you're maybe staying at someone else's house, or you're traveling, you're in a hotel room, you don't have access to your normal resources. I just do 10 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 jumping jacks, and a 1-minute plank. And I just call that my simple workout. And that's always a good one to tuck in if you feel like, I'm not gonna get it done otherwise. And then we got some hand-me-down equipment that I absolutely love. I'm so grateful for. We have 3 different little things set up in the basement. We've cleaned out an area. We don't pile up stuff on the things, so they're available and ready to use. I've got a bicycle, an elliptical, and a treadmill. And the fun thing about that is if I have a podcast or a class that I want to listen to or watch, I've got places where I can sit an iPad or a phone and be able to receive that at the same time that I'm working out. So love that. And our feature oil or product for exercise is Deep Blue Rub, which I absolutely love. It's perfect for pre-workout. I love to use it pre-workout because I love when people ask me if our products have side effects, because I'm going to give you an example of a side effect. When I put on Deep Blue at the beginning of a workout, just to soothe my muscles, soothe, by the way, is my keyword for exercise, because Deep Blue is the soothing blend. So maybe I start my workout and I realize I have some tension. I always have tension in my neck and my shoulders. That's where I carry my stress. So I start with a little bit of Deep Blue rub up there. And my side effect is that it has amazing oils in it that also open up my airways. And so when you work out and you start to breathe a little heavier, it's great to have that respiratory support. So there's your bonus side effect from your Deep Blue. So you want to use it pre-workout. You get that bonus of opening up during your workout. It's going to be soothing your muscles while you work out. And then post, for recovery, if you've got any soreness or any stiffness, this is your new best friend. And so I just love how, if you're feeling either emotionally or physically stuck, Deep Blue is your support oil. Let's go to rest and manage stress. Our affirmation here is, I am ready for anything. And that's from one of doTERRA's videos. I love that statement. We want to get, at least as adults, 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And that's important because you can't make up for lost sleep. And so say if on the regular you're only getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night, you can't just, that's a big sleep debt that you're creating day after day. And so you can't just then like take 2 days off of life and every once in a while sleep for 48 hours and make that up. It just doesn't work that way. And so you always want to be careful about how much sleep debt you're creating and work daily to just get a little bit more. And the quality of your rest is important as well. I love this girl here modeling for us. She's all snuggled up. Gets me excited for an early bedtime tonight. And then another stat for you, more than 80% of health problems are the result of persistent stress. And so, wow, you just can't say enough about how important it is to try to manage your stress, try to find emotional balance. I like to talk about taking a timeout or multiple timeouts during the day to just come back. You know, you want to start the day with some mindfulness practice, maybe some deep breathing, some meditation. You want to end your day with solid rest. And then in between those two times, you want to keep coming back to center, coming back to who you are, coming back to who God designed you to be. Do some deep breathing. Maybe you want to companion that deep breathing with an oil. Here are two beautiful choices in Balance and Lavender. And if you have these oils, pull them out. Oh my goodness, just breathe that in. Balance is one of my all-time favorites. It's a blend of just about every beautiful tree, calming, grounding oil we have. And the keywords for rest and manage stress are calm and ground. That's one of my favorites right there. I love to pair Balance with a timeout. If I'm going to take a break from my day and do some deep breathing, Balance is frequently what I grab. And then we're going to look at lavender as well. Grab your lavender, a couple drops, breathe that in. Oh my goodness. And what a great combination these two are together. I've seen them in some roller and diffuser blends together or separately. Together, I've seen them called Liquid Calm and Hot Mess Express. And so those are some fun combos to look up. You might want to make a roller ball or do a diffuser blend. These are also great together or separately as part of an Epsom salt bath. That's great to support a good night's sleep. They're also great to pair with massage. And if you realize, okay, I've been staying up too late lately and you want to start making improvements, One of my little tips or tricks is to not try to say, oh, okay, I've been going to bed at midnight and I need to fix that, and so I'm going to start going to bed at 9. That would be a drastic change, and you'll probably end up laying in the bed with your eyes wide open, just staring at the ceiling. And so what I like to recommend is just small increments. And I would actually start by waking up a little bit earlier, which is going to help you feel tired a little bit earlier, and then encourage that earlier bedtime. And just start with things like 15 to 30 minutes, just a gentle shift, and then keep working until you get to your desired sleep and hours of sleep. The other thing that I like to do, I realized I was doing myself a terrible disservice by right before bedtime, I would always say, I am so tired, I'm going to have such a hard time waking up in the morning. And so another one of those phenomenons, if that's the last thing I tell myself before I fall asleep, my brain holds on to that, and that's then the first thing I think when I wake up. And so don't take my word for it. Test this out for yourself. I absolutely love how this works. Be intentional before you go to bed, and I repeat this until I fall asleep. My body is amazing. While I sleep, it gives me all the energy I need to wake up and have a fantastic day. And I just say that over and over in my mind before I fall asleep. And I promise, when I wake up in the morning on the nights that I've said that instead of something negative, I feel great. And I am not what you would call a morning person. And so I need a lot of support in that area. And I'm going to give you some more tips later when we get to my rituals. But that's one thing that's been a really big deal for me. Let's look at reducing toxic load. And our affirmation here is, my body is a temple. And so here we want to be thinking about all the things that we put into our bodies, whether that's what we drink, of course, what we eat, our personal care products. If you think about your bathroom routine, your oral care, your skin care, your hair care, gosh, just first thing in the morning before you ever start your day, you've probably used, I don't know, how many products do you have? If you were to gather all of that up, and throw in your hair stuff, your makeup, all of it, not only what you use in the shower or to wash your face or to moisturize. It just goes on and on. Gather up all of those products and learn how to read the labels. See how many chemicals are sneaking into your bloodstream through your skin, through your scalp, and see how you can make some healthy swaps and some changes in this area. Even your cleaning products. I also have a whole class on green cleaning that's worth watching if you want to start swapping out chemicals for natural solutions. It's actually really lovely. I avoided it for probably the first 5 years that I was using doTERRA because I was just making it out to be something that was overwhelming, and it wasn't. I ended up working with a friend. I paid her. She came to my house. We had a cleaning day. She took the lead on the cleaning, and while she was going, I made 4 or 5 things that I now have in my green cleaning arsenal. It was so worth the one day. And now, instead of dreading cleaning because it just adds to my congestion to be breathing chemicals, and it made me sneeze, and then it made me feel really bad, like sick for a day or two, now I look forward to cleaning because I'm just breathing more of my oils. I get so many compliments on how my home smells. It just feels good to be able to clean. And I know I'm doing something really good for myself, for our family, when I clean that way. And then I love to have this image of the girl brushing her teeth because it reminds me of just an encouragement that I like to think about. So I think about how when I was little, I used to argue about brushing my teeth. Why do I have to brush my teeth? What a waste of time. I didn't get it. I didn't really care to understand why brushing and flossing were important. But at this point in my life, okay, we're grown-ups. Nobody's arguing about brushing teeth anymore. We smile. We want that to be pretty. We want to look out into the world and, have a good representation. We don't want nasty teeth. We don't want bad breath. And so we invest. We brush our teeth. We floss. We use mouthwash, all that stuff. We don't argue about it. And so if something bad were to happen in my life, For example, would I not brush my teeth because I'd be so overwhelmed by the bad thing? You know, maybe a death in the family or some other horrible thing, whatever pops to mind. Would I not brush my teeth? Absolutely not. I'm still going to brush my teeth. Even if I travel and go to a funeral or whatever, I'm not going to question brushing my teeth. That's how cemented that healthy habit is for me. And so I'm starting to get there with a lot of my things like sleep and food. I feel like my final frontier is the exercise, where I make all kinds of excuses. Oh, and if something bad happens or I'm sad, I go into the emotion of it and I just automatically say, oh, well, I can't work out today. You know, there's no possible way. I want to get to that place where all of my healthy habits are so second nature to me that they're just like brushing my teeth. So that's my prayer for me and for you, that this becomes just the hallmark of our lives. There's just ease there. There's just flow. It's just very natural that this is how we're taking care of ourselves and our temples. So I hope you like that. And then for reducing toxic load, our keywords are cleanse and detoxify. And as a free gift, I have available, this is on Facebook. If anybody wants to go through a 30-day cleanse, just let me know and I can add you to the group. It's private, so we don't have a bunch of people just flooding into it. But if this is of interest, this is available. And there are all these posts that you can work through. It's got all the instructions, the doTERRA products that you want to buy ahead of time. It's a beautiful cleanse. I do it a couple times a year, and we typically do it together live as a team. Last year we did mid-January to mid-February, and it worked out really well. I loved doing it that time of year, but I've also done it in the spring and the fall before, both really good times to do a cleanse. If that's of interest, let me know. That's available. Of course, we want to be drinking half our body weight in ounces of water every day. We want to be eliminating chemicals, eliminating processed foods. We've talked about a lot of that. Getting our lymph system moving is another really important practice in this category. And so some things you can do are dry brushing or skin brushing, whatever you want to call that. You can jump on a trampoline. If you're taking a hot or warm shower, you can end that with really cold water. Well, and it doesn't have to be piercing cold water, because when you shift out of the hot water, even if it's cool water, that's enough of a contrast. Depends how warm to hot your shower is. You just want to make sure there's a good contrast so that your body's shifting in temperature. And then focus on those areas of the body where your lymph drains. So the neck, the armpits, the private area, groin area, the knees, and the ankles. And you can do the elbows and the wrists as well. So if you focus on those areas from hot to cold, that encourages the lymph system to move and to drain. An Epsom salt bath is another good one here. And then a fun hack for your doTERRA mud mask, the face mask that we have, it also works as an armpit detoxifier. So you could put that mask under your armpits and just maybe move around the bathroom for a few minutes before you take your shower. And then when you get in the shower, just rinse the mask off before you would do your normal body wash, shaving routine that you do. And so just a nice way to detox there. And so let's talk about lemon for just a minute. Just lemon, and we're going to smell that together. I'm not going to add lemon to my palm and my neck at this moment because this one will energize me, and I am winding down for the night at this point. So lemon is your oil of focus, and love lemon for so many things. Like every citrus oil, it's going to boost your mood, increase your energy, and it's going to be cleansing and detoxifying, not only to the body, but also to our surfaces. And so we want to ingest it. You can drink it in the water. You can take it in a cap. You can put it under your tongue. You can diffuse it. You can apply it topically. It's a great oil to put on the mid to low back to just send some lemon love directly to your kidney, your liver, and your adrenals. great oil to just use proactively to help with release of toxins and proper digestion. And then you can also clean with it. I mentioned our green cleaning class. You can make a great window cleaner or glass cleaner with some vinegar and some distilled water and drops of lemon. You can make a little toilet or dishwasher balm, little cubes that you can throw in your dishwasher instead of a pack, little dishwasher pack that you might buy, natural alternative to that. And they also can go right in the toilet as well. Lots of great recipes in that class. You can also just add some lemon along with some fractionated coconut oil to a microfiber cloth and polish your wood furniture. Works really well. All right, let's go to informed self-care. Our affirmation here is we are worth it. And I was intentional by using the word we here because self-care I used to think of as being selfish, and it's actually not. It's a gift to me, but it's also a gift to everyone I interact with. From the standpoint of I'm investing in myself and the quality of my health and the quality of my mood, my attitude, the way that I show up in the world. And so, yes, of course, we want to get massages and get our nails done and all those lovely things. But beyond that, informed self-care, I want you to broaden your thinking and your definition of what self-care means. It's any form of taking care of yourself. And so I want you to put first aid in this category, and I want you to put really handling as many as 80% or sometimes even more of those common things that life throws at you. Scrapes, cuts, burns, common cold, minor bacteria, viruses that you might come in contact with. Just being prepared for any of those scenarios invests in your self-care. And who wouldn't want to just walk down the hall and have what you need at your fingertips versus having to, make doctor visits and pay copays and engage in prescriptions that we then have to recover from for every little thing. You want to hold those for when it's really important, not just for every little thing. And so we can handle 80% or more of what life throws at you. Wow. That feels really good. That feels like less stress and more self-care to me. And so in this category of informed self-care, our key words are going to be protect and restore. And this one's going to be short because I'm going to tell you that all of the other building blocks that we've talked about from this point, from the beginning up to this point, all those other previous foundations of health build into what your self-care looks like. So as you're doing all those, eating right, drinking water, moving your body, managing your rest and stress, and your toxic load, reducing your toxic load, you're investing in your self-care in all of those ways. So I want to highlight these two amazing oils. And the first one is frankincense. This is king of oils. And I am going to use a little frankincense. If anybody has been feeling deep into their emotions today, frankincense is a perfect companion for you. Really helps to manage heavy emotions well with emotional balance and grounding. Called the king of oils, you really literally can use frankincense for almost anything. Cellular health, and if you don't know exactly what that means, reach out and we should have a conversation about that. It's really important. Everything skin, from proactive to anti-aging to wound care, blemishes, whatever, anything skin. Brain health and memory function. our essential oils are capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier. So important. If you have conditions maybe that run in your family that impact your memory function as you age, then a little swipe of frankincense right here on the brainstem once or twice a day can be really important for you. Pain and inflammation, it's a wonderful natural analgesic, also provides respiratory support, and it's my favorite go-to oil for prayer and meditation. I like to call this one Jesus in a bottle. And we will end on Guard, our protective blend. And I'm going to breathe that in. I'm definitely going to add a drop of that in this moment. Everybody needs a little immune boost these days. I'm just going to breathe that in, add a little to the back of my neck. And On Guard is a warm oil, so you want to be careful. If you're not used to applying that on the regular, you may want to combine it with fractionated coconut oil just to reduce any potential skin sensitivity. I typically don't have an issue with On Guard, but I will say I do like to put it on my throat and my chest if I feel that little tickle coming on, which can happen, especially this time of year. And so I will find if I start to battle something for a few days, trying to maybe hit it off at the pass, I might get a little sensitivity in this area because that skin is just a little, more sensitive than the palms maybe or the back of the neck. And so I want to keep that fractionated coconut handy. Or if you don't have that, you can use really any oil in your kitchen. Jojoba is wonderful. It pairs really well with human skin. It's actually the most like our skin, but really grapeseed, any oil that you have in your kitchen can work well. And On Guard provides both a physical and emotional barrier, if you will, for our vulnerabilities. And this is another example, much like the Deep Blue. I love these oils that are really known for their physical benefits, like Deep Blue and On Guard, and then learning about how they work so similarly for our emotional support. So if you think about being vulnerable to a threat, maybe an environmental threat that's coming at you in the form of, say, a bacteria or a virus, then On Guard is that shield that you want to have, like a force field around your physical body to protect you from that threat. It protects you from being vulnerable. Same thing emotionally. And so a lot of us are just feeling raw these days. If you feel like you need support in that barrier or setting boundaries so that you're not being so vulnerable emotionally, if you need to help protect your emotions so that even though you may be going through some hard things, you may be feeling really raw and exposed emotionally as you go out and try to function in the world, you can apply a little On Guard, not only for that immune support, but also for the emotional support. It can fortify and protect any emotional vulnerabilities. So say you have to have a conversation with someone and you want to make sure that you hold it together emotionally. Even though you're feeling some tension or maybe your tears are right there at the edge and you want to hold it together, On Guard is a wonderful support oil for that. Okay, so let's end with proactive medical care. This is our final building block or foundation of health that we want to look at. And our last affirmation here is we are empowered. And I hope that by the time that we've climbed this wellness pyramid, that's how you're feeling. And so that's a very natural thing for you to be able to say. I hope you're feeling equipped and encouraged and empowered, maybe much like Rocky as he's climbed to the top of the steps and, in victory. Maybe that's how you feel as we reach the top of our pyramid together. I know that's how I always feel when I review, especially in these times where so many things feel out of control and out of my reach or power to just remind myself how much I am in control over, how many things I do get to choose as I co-create my life with the Lord. I feel really good about that, and I hope you do too. So we'll just land on this proactive medical care and review our disclaimer. doTERRA does not prevent, treat, or cure disease all by itself. What do we have for those things? Our daily health habits are what help us prevent disease. So we just want to anchor into those habits that we reviewed over this class tonight. We partner with trusted medical professionals when we need diagnosis and treatment. Certainly if we need any type of medication or a surgery or so forth. What I love about being empowered as far as my medical care, because I'm doing so much proactively, because I'm aware of so many natural solutions, I'm often already helping myself by the time I would go and meet with a doctor. And I do have that power to choose who's the doctor I'm going to work with, who's going to be my partner in this, who's going to honor and respect the ways that I've been investing in my health with natural things. And I have an amazing doctor that does just that. We work together like partners. If I have to go see her for some type of testing or to figure something out or to discuss treatment, she honors and takes into account what natural things I've been doing, and we find a path forward that either includes what I've been doing or sticks with what I've been doing. And then I always have her expertise and her resources as a backup. If, you know, one of those circumstances or situations calls for, what do we want to say, like the heavy artillery, the big guns, if we need to pull those in, then we only do that when absolutely necessary. And finally, our bodies are divinely designed to cure disease and heal on their own. And yes, in this day and age, it might seem a little outside the scope to think, is that possible? You know, with all of the threats that are out there. But I want to encourage you, the more that you lean in to these healthy habits, everything that we've talked about over the course of this class, this statement will be easier and easier for you to align with and to agree with. Because the more support that we give our bodies in terms of rest and pain management, certainly when we're fighting something, then the better chance we have for that divine design to kick in and take over and bring us back, you know, take us by the hand and lead us back to wholeness. So this is just a graphic summary of where we've been over the course of the class. This is a review of those 5 building block foundations that we covered with the doTERRA products that enhance each one. And obviously we have way more oils and products at our disposal in partnership with all of the different practices that we talked about. But if you're looking to add some essential oils and products to your arsenal, this is a great place to start. We can consider these, or if you want to swap some different things out to suit your preferences or specific needs that you have, we can always do that. And then what does it look like in daily life? And so these are Dr. Hill's recommendations that he made at a previous convention. These take the very products that we featured in the class and map them out. Morning, afternoon, evening, bedtime. What does this look like? You can do a screenshot of this if you'd like. I also have a beautiful handout that I've created. When we meet, everybody has the open invitation to schedule a wellness consult with me. That can happen over Zoom if you like, or we can meet one-on-one at my office at Inner Wisdom Healing Center. And I would be happy to customize what your daily wellness plan looks like with you. And so this, again, would just be a great place to start, and we can customize that as needed. And so I just wanted to touch on a few of the rhythms that I practice in my daily life in case these would be of benefit to you. I absolutely love the bookends of my morning ritual and my evening ritual. In the morning, I like to do something from Hal Elrod's book, Miracle Morning, called Savers. I was already doing a lot of the different things. That's an acronym, and it stands for silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. And scribing, he needed the S word, so that's what he used. But that counts for writing, journaling, whatever you're going to do. It just looks nice there with the S on the end instead of a W or a J. And so that's what I use to just tick off the things that I want to do first thing in the morning, before I'm a mom, before I'm a wife, before I'm a wellness advocate or a spiritual director or a retreat leader or anything else. I am a daughter of God, and I sit quietly and I do these healthful things, and that's how I start my day. And so I come from a place of connection before I would step out and begin to create or consume in any way. And it's just been beautiful. And then as Kate wakes up and we start our morning routine, I weave in some of my home blessing ritual. And that just involves opening up our home and maintaining it in a certain way that is supportive to all my healthy habits. So I'm going to open up the curtains, I start all my diffusers, I take my early morning supplements, I maybe clean up the breakfast dishes, wipe down the kitchen counters and table. If I need to load the dishwasher, empty the dishwasher, if I need to put in a load of laundry, and I always make my bed. And so those are some things that I do to bless our home and our environment as we begin the day. And then, as I said, I bookend that with a beautiful evening ritual, and I just go in reverse. I will straighten up the living room. I love to fold blankets and put pillows back where they go. It's kind of funny, but it's the realtor still in me. I feel like when I walk into a room, it should look show ready. We're not selling our house, but just in case somebody wants to come by and look at it, it should look just so. So I like to do those kind of things. It gives me peace. Close the curtains, clean up any dinner dishes, load the dishwasher if needed, take that laundry out and fold it. Turn down the bed, set up all the bedroom diffusers for the evening, things like that. Turn out the lights, make sure the doors are locked, all of that good stuff. And then my own personal ritual where I return to just myself, daughter of the Lord. I might have a cup of tea, and some of these I switch out depending on the night and how much time I have. I typically always pray and meditate and go over a couple things that I'm grateful for as I drift off to sleep, and say that little mantra about my body being amazing and I'm going to have a great night's sleep and lots of energy. Sometimes if I have it in me, if I have the time and the space, then I might do some stretching, and I might read a little bit before I turn in. But that's obviously flexible, and you can add in whatever works for you. Some people love a late bath, even if it's just a soak with some oils or Epsom salts, light some candles, play some soft music. Endless options there. You can design that however you want. And then with the hours in between, I have tremendous intentionality that's based on my goals and priorities. Where do I want to be in my home, in my life, in my work? And I don't hesitate to block off periods of time. I have lots of things set on my computer, on my phone, so that my time is respected and honored. And so I'm not just getting calls, I'm not just responding to other people's agendas all day long. When I need to buckle down and do my work and create, I like to have uninterrupted time. So you can set up, if someone is married to you or gave birth to you, or if you gave birth or adopted them, then they have the right to call you at any time. But other than that, you can flag those on your phone. Other than that, calls are held, and it's beautiful. And it doesn't ignore that other person's agenda. It just snoozes it or holds it off for a little bit, so that when I have space in the day that's set aside for returning emails and phone calls and meeting with people and running errands and all that moving and shaking kind of activity is how I describe it, then I'm present for that in a way that I wouldn't be if I felt like it was an interruption. I just always want my energy to be the brightest and the best it can be. And so I like to focus with blocks of time on those specific activities. Obviously, life's always going to life you. You want to be prepared for that. But I work better, especially as a self-employed person, if I have a plan, rather than just waking up every day like, wonder how today's going to go. That could get me into a lot of trouble. And so I like to have a schedule and a plan that I'm at least going to start off with. And if things happen, I can handle them much better. Absolutely love my rituals and the way I manage my time and my calendar. And of course, I always make time for joy. I love to have at least one thing off my joy list every day. And those can be things that cost money, or those can be things that are free. But I think it's so important to experience joy every single day of our lives. That's what God intended. And so to just be intentional about making time and space for that, it just makes your life feel balanced and healthy and full and always something to look forward to. And so some of them might be a splurge. Maybe a once a month massage or something like that would be a joy item, but something else, just like reading with my daughter before we go to bed, or watching a movie. I love to watch a movie once or twice a week, things like that. But the sky is the limit on your joy list as well. And then how do I bring all of this goodness together? I'm so excited. I just launched this fall a beautiful new group coaching experience. And then you can also opt into a one-on-one option as well if you like. It's called Refresh Your Life. We're right in the midst of the October running of the program right now, and we are loving it. I'm going to be running this 3 times a year. So if you missed out on the October offering, it's going to come around again in January and then again in April. It's a 1-month dip your toe in the water of whole health life coaching that features foundations of health, spiritual formation, and success principles that you can just weave into your life as you get refreshed and create a life that you love. And so if that's of interest to you, you can find out more on my website, christygammon.com, or reach out to me. So let's return to our empty plate, back where we started, and take a nice deep breath. We've covered a lot over the course of our time together. Just want to come back to your plate and remember that you're only putting on this plate tonight what is just for you. And so with that in mind, if you've put something on your plate, then I want to give you a couple of next steps to take with you. First, if you're not yet a doTERRA member, we have a number of enrollment kits. This Healthy Habits kit just happens to have all the products in it that we covered over the course of our class tonight. So it's a great choice. If this isn't the best choice for you, we have several other kits. They waive the enrollment fee when you choose a kit. So it's nice to save that $35. Or if you want to do an a la carte order, you can always do that as well. This kit has great savings. You're going to save $75 because you're going to get that enrollment kit, the enrollment fee waived, and you're also going to get some free stuff. So when you enroll with these kits, you actually get to pay below wholesale. So that's always fun. We have brand new wellness programs that just launched this month, October 2020, and you'll be able to sign up for those right away if you have your membership. if you don't have your membership yet, go ahead and enroll in October. Reach out to me or the person who invited you. We'll get you enrolled, and then you can begin the following month. And so we have 3 different themes or tracks that you can choose from at this point. One is Mind and Mood, which I have featured on the screen here. We also have Immunity, which stars our On Guard products, and Relief, which stars our Deep Blue products. So if you're interested in those, they are absolutely amazing. Huge savings below wholesale pricing. Lots of fun freebies, exclusive minis, and things that you can't buy outside of these programs. So really fun. Let me know if one of those is speaking to you, and we can follow up on it. Never want to go into the kitchen without recipes. I would never want to begin my wellness journey with essential oils without a Modern Essentials book. I refer to that still at least weekly, if not daily. So it's kind of the Bible of all of your essential oils, uses, benefits, where they're sourced from, what they do for you, how to use them, and so forth. So you definitely want to have that book. I love Essential Emotions. It's hands down one of my favorite resources. If you need access to either of these books, let me know. I will help you out and get you a huge discount on the Modern Essentials book. So never buy that online. Always come to me for that. I don't make money on them. I just buy them in bulk and pass the savings on to you. So definitely take advantage of that. And then the iTovi scan. If you're a member of the team, I encourage come and meet with me and get your scan for free every quarter. And it's just going to kind of take your temperature and let you know which oils would best support you in this season. And so I like to do that about every 3 months, and then incorporate a couple of the oils from the scan and then see how I make progress each season. And so that's available to you. If you're not part of the team, then there is a small fee. But if you decide to enroll on the day that you scan, then I go ahead and waive that fee, so you don't have to worry about it. But members of the team automatically get that free with a consult every quarter if you want to take advantage of that. I hope you'll screenshot this. I'm not going to read this word for word because I know we're getting short on time. This class has a lot of information and we've kind of gone over. So I'm just going to let you screenshot these words of wisdom if you want to take them with you. But it really just focuses in on our choice in the matter and how important our habits are, how we show up. What do we want our lives to look like? How do we want to participate in the creation of our life, and hopefully our life to the full? So I hope these words inspire you. And then these are some references that I either pulled from directly as I was building out the class, or are just treasured resources that I have that I would highly recommend for you as well. So let's come back to our blank plate one last time and end on this beautiful note. I want you to just receive the expanse of the empty plate, the freedom, and the abundance. This is your life. You get to create it. You get to live it to the full. And I'm not here to load up your plate and put a bunch of extra stuff on it. I'm here to support you as you decide what would be most helpful to you. I would love to help you make progress one step at a time. Let me know how I can support you. And if you are here live, I'm going to stop my screen share and I will promote anyone to panelists so that we can hang out and answer any questions that you have. If you've been watching the recording, thanks so much for being here, and we will see you for the next class. Here's to your continued health and wellness.